Everybody, welcome to the Meet the Expert interview. Our guest today is Gabe Carter, Managing Director of Vietnam for Aurecon Group. Welcome to the Meet the Experts, Gabe.
Yeah, thanks, Mauro.
So Aurecon is an engineering, design, planning, project management, consultancy and advisory project with a global presence in Vietnam. They have their project across the whole country, and they are working in some of the largest hospitality developments, such as Almas Resort, Coco Bay Da Nang Resort, the International Airport in Hanoi, and Lincoln Landmark 81. So they're pretty busy into all the different sections, including hospitality. Gabe is responsible for over 240 staff, general operation, business development, project development, financial performance, and team development. So hopefully today will take us a bit into the activity of the group, especially in Vietnam, and what they see into the future. So Gabe, I'd really like to start one question on you and your group and your client, how you see the business in this period and how the activity is going.
Yeah, well, thanks. It's probably actually broken up into two parts. There's the impact that we're seeing is not only how our clients are proceeding and how our clients are impacted, but also how the staff and how we actually deliver the projects we're working on. So in terms of what we do and how we're impacted, obviously demobilising over 250 people to their homes in Vietnam is a logistics exercise. Fortunately, for a number of years, we've been working using digital tools and working on the cloud. So effectively, you know, there's a level of flexibility there. But I think what we've learned from the past 4 weeks in Vietnam is that really that is the way we have to proceed. So if anything, it's sort of fast-tracked us down that digital cloud-based way of working. And I think as well, where there was some skepticism as to whether working from home was possible in Vietnam at the start of the year, I think one great thing that's come out of it is we're realising that, you know, maybe it's easier than we thought. And we are seeing some really good results from what we've been doing, you know, working in virtual teams distributed around Ho Chi Minh City. The early indicators are that it is possible and we can be productive. So we're quite excited about that. In terms of the impact on our clients, you know, I'd probably say it's probably 30 to 40% of the work we're doing is in hospitality, whether that's part of a mixed use development or a, you know, standalone hotel or resort. We've probably got about another 20, maybe 30%, which is purely residential. So those two sectors are obviously, you know, pretty exposed. Obviously being in the private sector, we do have clients and developers that are starting to really consider the impact of the medium term. And we have had a number of projects go on hold. Fortunately, I think out of all our businesses within Asia and maybe even beyond, I think Vietnam's holding up quite well. There still are a number of large opportunities that we're pursuing, and there's a number of large projects we've got in hand, which are helping the team stay busy over the past couple of months. And I think, you know, that by the looks of things, that's going to continue. I mean, interestingly enough, in Vietnam, with the lead up to the election early next year, and with some of the issues properties had around authority approvals and whatnot, we'd already been in a bit of a disrupted mode anyway. So this COVID came along, and, you know, I think we've learnt how to be very nimble, and we've learnt how to effectively deal with the volatility that we've seen in the market. So I think, you know, I'm happy to say right now we're in a reasonable position. And as I said, there's lots of opportunities out there. Probably hospitality wise, what's interesting is we're seeing some clients looking to take advantage of the low occupancy, whereby they're fast tracking things like refurbishments or, you know, rebranding of the hotel, etc. So that's quite good. And then there's also, you know, there's markets like data center and other mission critical systems where I think the whole world's realised that there's benefits to working on the cloud, and that knocks on to the impact of, you know, building mission critical data center space. So I think that's an area where we're looking to effectively diversify the portfolio as well.
Thank you, Gabe. Looking into the future and then probably the end of this year or 2021, how do you see this recovery coming? I mean, Vietnam has just opened a bit the door to activity this week. People are getting back into the normal life. Do you see a strong recovery coming fast, or it will just take longer? Hospitality, but generally real estate.
Yeah. Look, I think typically the media take quite a sensationalist view, and I think when you look at some of the headlines around the world, there is a bit of a doom and gloom sentiment. So, I mean, I'm not an economist, so I'm not going to comment on whether it's V-shaped or U-shaped. I think it's probably going to be neither. It's maybe going to be a little bit. I don't think it's going to be as bad as what's being reported in some sectors, but specifically to hospitality, I think you've got a number of groups which drive hospitality. Obviously, there's business travel. There's young people that want to travel around Vietnam. There's older people. I think you're going to see with the younger people, less risk for them in terms of an impact from COVID, probably more impacted in terms of losing jobs, etc., in their home countries. So I think there'll be a mixed bag there. There'll be young people that just want to get out and start traveling again, and they'll be very risk averse around the COVID situation. But looking at when you walk around Ho Chi Minh City on a Tuesday afternoon, there's a lot of elderly travellers, a lot of people on the scenic tours and these types of organised tours. I can't see how that group of people are actually going to possibly be able to be insured. You know, when you think about end of 2020, 21, I think until COVID's very much in the rearview mirror and there's been an immunisation sorted out, I think it's going to be very difficult for that high risk category to travel. And I think ultimately they're the ones that stay in the 5-star hotels and spend more money than others, across the shorter period of time that they're here. So I think it's going to be a bit of a mixed bag, but I can't see there being a huge upswing of tourism in the next short period of time. I think it's going to be more in medium term. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's somewhere between a V-shaped recovery and a U-shaped recovery, but I suppose the overarching comment would be I don't think it's going to be as when we're talking about Great Depressions, etc. I'm a little bit more bullish around that. I think there's lots of good signs that we're already seeing. I mean, at the end of the day as well, Vietnam's got 100 million people, and you'd argue that they're leading the world in terms of the actions that have been taken and the recovery and the reopening of the economy that we're seeing this week.
Excellent. Thank you, Gabe. And two questions just related specifically your work or the advisory. Some people think that the travelers may change into their behavior into travel. We saw it when in previous situation where people are worried and somehow change in design are made to actually bring back safety, especially in the airport. You guys are also doing work in the airport. Do you think the change in behavior will be also changed into the way we design building resorts or airport? Do you think there will be some other elements new to come?
Oh, look, for sure. Whether it's airports or whether it's office space, I think we're all looking at ourselves now and taking a design thinking approach as to how, this will change the way people behave in society. It'll change the way people think about whether it's about wearing masks or whether it's about hand hygiene or whether it's about whether they need to be sitting in the office or sitting at home, or even whether they need to take the trip up to Hanoi or whether it's proven that we can do it over Zoom. So I think all of those factors are going to change the way people live, and that will automatically then flow into the built environment and how we design buildings. So, I mean, I think there's definitely some real lessons that people have learned about how we can be more effective, and I think a lot of businesses are looking to see how they can gain efficiencies out of working, out of traveling. I know in Vietnam I've taken many trips up to Hanoi for a 15-minute meeting over the past 4 years, so hoping that type of thing will change after this. Now
that we are learning how to use Zoom and how to use technology, do you think that will also impact the way people build and the way you guys will work? So construction industry will slightly be modified as well?
Look, I think so. As I mentioned before, digital is a big part of the way we do business, and it's probably one of our differentiators that we've really focused on in the past 3-4 years. I think you're going to see a real digital disruption that comes out of this. And I think the way that buildings are designed and the way that digital tools are used to design buildings is going to very much fast track towards that cloud-based 3D environment. And so I think that's going to be one benefit that comes out of this. A lot of the sort of archaic ways of doing things in the past decade, I think, are going to be left behind, and we're going to really take a leap forward from a digital delivery perspective.
That's very interesting, and I'm looking forward to see all this change coming. Thank you very much, Gabe, for joining us. It's a lot of very good insight for our clients. Hopefully, we'll have you joining one of our next webinar. And maybe we'll meet up in Ho Chi Minh City somehow for a drink when the gathering will be over again. Thank you very much, Gabe.
That's good. Thank you.